back at my instruction over the last 5 years, I think everything has changed. I do so much more with my class with engagement strategies, with response cards, with cooperative learning. All of my kids set individual goals for themselves in reading. I track all of those goals every month. We chart it as a class and we chart it individually. Students really know more where they are and how they're progressing in their learning.
The simple step of identifying the learning objective at the beginning of the lesson has made a significant impact on student learning in my classroom.
One thing that I've tried in the last few years to improve is getting all my students engaged in each lesson. And by doing that, I've used some Anita Archer activities and response cards, and also some math talk moves. That way it's not just the kids who are raising their hands all the time.
To discuss how it is we address the needs of the whole child. Thus far we've been implementing different mindfulness techniques into the classroom.
Our staff development over the last few years has helped me to be more cognizant of the level of engagement in my classroom, and it has also helped to give me some new strategies for helping students to be engaged and stay engaged, and also helping them to be able to verbalize their own learning.
I think I've grown as a professional in that I am more aware of making sure that students are engaged and successful, and we are making sure that we're teaching the whole child.
The areas in which I've probably addressed and improved the most in my teaching over the last few years has to be probably one with the use of L to J, with our weekly L to J quizzes in terms of tracking student progress, focusing on the rigor and relevance of the content.
Engagement has become more of a goal and more of a focus. I've become more intentional with the activities that I plan, and my expectations have gotten higher, and with that level of engagement they've been able to reach the goals that we set for them.
Over the past several years, I have been able to add many strategies to my teacher toolbox. Thanks to PLC time, my co-teacher and I are able to look at data and determine what kids' needs are and then adjust our instruction. I've also added several engagement strategies into that toolbox so that students can stay engaged in my classroom.
Some things I think that have really changed is our focus. I think we really are focusing more on, I would say, on learning and really reflecting on it. I think we're much more specific than we used to be. We really looked at key groups of kids, what we were doing well, and then trying to apply that in the classroom. I've become much more in tune to what's going on in the classroom. My evaluations aren't so much evaluated as towards growth.
One big change that I've seen is just the level of engagement with the second grade students. Instead of me being the one doing most of the talking, now they're actively participating, whether it be like partner pair shares, choral responses, we use response paddles. I think that's really improved instruction. Another great change for second grade is the goal setting and the tracking progress. Oral reading fluency is a huge thing in second grade, and I think the students taking ownership by tracking their progress has really helped with that.
Implementation of our online weekly planners. It's helped us just make sure that we're aligned as a SRT with our key concepts and our skills, but also we're able to communicate those with parents and then continually reference those throughout the course of a unit with our students.
In the past, I didn't use very much cooperative learning in small groups. Now I like to combine cooperative learning with physical movement to have students get out of their seats and find a pair and share. So not only now they have more energy, but it's a little bit of a brain break.
I've been working on chunking my lessons into shorter segments and checking my students' understanding more often using the engagement procedures that we've worked on. And we've also been focusing this year on having students graph their progress more often, and we're moving into looking at our questioning strategies.
We've also become more strategic about what is being taught, looking at what are the essentials that our students need to have. We've worked hard to focus on student data, determining what they need to know and what they don't know, and then with that collaborating together to discuss instructional strategies and generating ways to help our students learn that content, those essentials that they need to have as they move on.
I've gained a lot of valuable strategies and activities that have hopefully translated into improved student learning. I feel my students have been more active and have been more efficient learners in the classroom. So.
I've spent a lot of time focusing on student involvement. I've done those things by using some Kagan techniques and strategies to get the kids discussing throughout the day. I also like to focus on hands-on activities and then using brain breaks to help them move in between subjects.
One thing I have changed in the last couple of years of teaching is posting my learning goals. We talk about learning goals in the morning, maintain a lively pace throughout the day, talk about the learning goals again, continue that lively pace. And another thing we've done also is celebrate learning. We have celebrations throughout each month to celebrate goals that the kids have surpassed.
The biggest changes that I've made in my classroom have been from the lecture-based style to more inquiry-based styles. It seems like students seem to learn better when it makes sense to them. So instead of learning a process that I have taught them, they kind of find their own process that makes sense.
As superintendent of the Hastings Public Schools, it's an honor to work with the staff that we have. They are doing so many fantastic things, it's unbelievable. To have 3 of our 8 schools recognized nationally, to have students performing like they are, I couldn't be more thrilled.